Okay, so wait, I'm gonna wait till you record.
I've started the recording.
Oh, that's right. It's all the AI that starts the automated voice ahead of time. Hey, everybody. So we kind of have like a two-part element of what we're wanting to do today. The first is make sure that like we are going over some of the like opportunities that are available through some of like the OTA FAFSA support funds. I know some of you that are on the call have been utilizing this, but I just want to go over that in a little detail and just show people how you apply for funds. And then after that, it's meant to be more of like a general session around FAFSA best practices or questions or stuff that you can ask. Obviously, with me and Robin not working with students every day anymore, we are not exactly the experts on these anymore, but we do know folks both within COE and like the college place and some of our experts within Oregon, where if there are like specific questions that are coming up, we have really good resources of people who have like all the answers or who can find them, hopefully, for our trio programs. I'm going to share. Um, Robin said that the NEC had sent out a FAFSA update, I believe, yesterday. So I'm putting that in the chat right now. That was just a few like clarifying elements just for reference. But again, what I wanted to start with first is going over the like FAFSA support fund. So this is similar to like the grant that ECMC had awarded to us last like summer. That was because with the Better FAFSA, a lot of students weren't completing it or having issues. So they had created a fund to like incentivize people like us doing workshops and trying to work with students and communities to get more FAFSAs completed so we could see those students go on to college. Now, all those funds expired as of like the end of September. There was a hope that they were going to do another big round of funding again, but with the change in administration, they just stopped all of it and didn't award any funds. However, because of is that all AI? Yeah, because of similar funding to what OTA receives. So the five organizations that got funding from the state, Oregon Trio Association, there was Avid, College Possible, Aspire, which is like the state organization that does similar stuff. And then there was a program, Built Exito. From my understanding, as Built Exito kind of ceased to exist as a nonprofit and as an organization, and Aspire was having a hard time kind of spending all of their funds because they kind of already are state funded. That what OSAC did is they took all the leftover funds and created a grant. So that was like the Aspire capacity building grants. And I know even some of our TRIO programs got funding for that. But we applied for like this almost the same exact thing we did with ECMC. Now, in that round, we both paid for like food and snacks and stuff, and we're going to give extra stipends. We found out that that created a lot of headaches sometimes with some of the institutions and feeling like people were getting double paid and just some complications. So this time we kind of made it all student facing. And I have till June to spend these funds. I have roughly probably a third of it to 45% of the funds have been requested for, but I still have probably over $10,000 of funds that I can spend for you all. So it is FAFSA facing. So elements of what you, there needs to be an option for students, or it needs to be part of what you're doing that students have an option to get some assistance in completing a FAFSA, doing verification, whatever that stuff looks like, because some of the information we need to report on are just how many people are participating, um, how many FAFSAs were worked on, and how many FAFSAs were completed during your event. Now, if you can do other things while you're doing that, if you want to make it a bridge activity, an advising, you want to partner with other organizations, you want to make it a recruiting event. Like the idea is these are a lot of funds that are not tied to your grant funds and can be used very creatively to work with community partners, other institution partners. If you're at the college level or if you're at the high school, like you can just be the cool high school program that buys everyone dinner for some evening event that has FAFSA as a part of it. Now you can do lots of other aspects, but again, as long as this is part of it, this is kind of all they need. So it's meant to be really flexible and just needs to happen between now and the end of June. Um, some of you on the call I know have done some of these. So before we kind of go into specifics around FAFSA, is there anybody who wanted to like comment or just kind of mention how they've used these already so far?
I think last year, didn't Linda use them to help with like new student registration for first year students? I know it has to be done by June, but I know some of that registration happens earlier than the end of June. So that might be an idea for some of the colleges.
So Matt, this is different than the one for Better FAFSA the previous year, right?
Correct. Yeah, this is a
Okay.
different funder, everything, a different pool of funds, different timeline.
I mean, I can share because I requested some funds for food regarding an event that we're having next week. So we're doing a study break, trio trivia, and we're going to sneak in FAFSA because we still have students who have not completed their FAFSA for all kinds of reasons. So we are not only asking students, do you need help completing your FAFSA, but we're hoping by next week, some of our students might even be looking at their award for PSU and then helping students understand how to accept their award to get them all ready for the next academic year.
Yes.
It, Matt, I actually have a question. So for the food that we're ordering, can we just send you the invoice and you pay for it, or do you need us, as staff, to pay for it first and you reimburse us?
Um, this is in like classic OTA fashion. It's like literally whatever's easiest. If they will invoice it, I'll pay it direct.
Okay.
If I can do it online, I'll make a phone call. I've done Chris Samario here at Western has already done one event. And he just sent me receipts and paid for himself. And I same day there's a reimbursement check going out. So it can be flexible. If it's like a lot of money, right? And like there's not an option to invoice and you have to pay up front. Again, like just if you submit this form, it sends a thing to me and I just kind of send a response, but we can just kind of communicate individually around the best way to go about it. But if folks are fine just kind of paying out of pocket and getting reimbursed, as long as I have like the receipts, that's enough to where I'm not just sending you money.
Okay. And Matt, I mean, my other question is because we're doing RSVP, we don't want to order so much food and have so much left over too. So we are trying to be good stewards of this money too. If we're not going to use the full 500, we're not. And we're just gonna, so my goal is to have you pay for the invoice when the vendors send us the invoice, and then you just pay for it and we don't have to worry about reimbursing
Okay.
anybody.
Yep. Works for me.
Yeah. And we're going to use it, request more funds. We're going to do Western mid-day. Students are going to come in the kind of signing day at Western. So for recruitment, and a lot of those folks haven't done their FAFSA. So there'll be probably several folks getting help with their FAFSA or, confirming information. So that's a big date in April for us. And we'll probably have well over 100 students come that day. And talking to financial aid, I think at least 20% of those folks, or maybe more, have not completed their FAFSA. So it'd be great for recruitment, also to help help folks out. So thanks.
And you can do more than one, right? Like I haven't had so many overwhelming offers that I can't keep um, that you can't do like more than one request. So right now I'm at like in terms of total requested is still like 6,500 bucks. So I have like a lot. Like if you want to do a series or if every single event you're doing between now and the end of June, you want to just make sure there's some option for FAFSA, like um it's totally fine, right? Like this is all either we have to give it back to the state or it just gets used by our students and programs and more often than not, I'm sure you help a small group of students. So, even I know somebody had just asked today if they can get like some smaller gift cards or something, even like incentivize or raffle away to like attend if it's like still right. If it's food adjacent or coffee cards, like that still kind of all falls in the spirit of what we're talking about here. So that can be an element as well to consider. Now that obviously I know is more complicated because it's getting gift cards ahead of time and probably easiest to do that reimbursement because it's hard for me to just mail those out. But okay, any other kind of thoughts, questions, or ideas around this? Like the hope is to kind of get a little creative and just kind of spruce up an event and just have some funding to do that. I could do the tango drawing. So Linda had asked if you're unfamiliar with tango. OTA basically has an account for this company Tango. They're like a third party. Like they'll send an email to students who then pick the gift card they want to redeem. So whatever the amounts are, like if you just give me a list of student names and emails, I can send 10 $5 gift cards or 10 $10 gift cards, and then the student just redeems it for whatever they want. There's like a big catalog of um, gift cards that they can choose from. I think most of them are electronic, but that mostly works with people these days. So. Okay. If there is nothing else, I might stop sharing here and just kind of more open things up as it relates to just FAFSA and just kind of if anybody this may get like relatively specific. Obviously, we can't do that with all student information, but like what are challenges you're seeing? What questions are you running into? Like what tips, tricks, resources do you and your staff use? Like this is meant to be just a space to kind of share out as a community. So
I can share. Some of our students are not doing the FAFSA because what they've been hearing on the news regarding the Department of Education being phased out. So they're like, what's the point of me doing the FAFSA? I'm like, well, we don't know that. Please just do it. But that's just been some of the conversations I've been having with our current students. I have no idea what's happening in the high schools,
Check.
given what's happening with so many things across the country.
yeah, no, I don't even have a great. So last night there was West Stop is having their conference in Portland right now. So last night they did an alumni reception. So like me and Robin were there, and um, Jeff was there, kind of hosting and doing karaoke stuff. But like Mara Luna was there, who's the COE board chair, and Kim Jones, and so a lot of like the COE folks. And there was a Sonoma State training team, so quite a few people connected. And I think what Mara had said is with the secretary for Department of Ed getting approved now and getting through, like we could see a bunch more EOs come through, executive orders specifically relating to Department of Ed, like any day now. So like, yeah, we may be about to like specific to Department of Ed kind of be facing. I mean, at least my hope is whatever it is, kind of all happens right up front, so we at least know versus like sitting in the unknown of what they're going to attempt to do. But obviously, I think the general consensus is like try to just encourage them to move forward because it's just so much money you're leaving on the table if you don't do it. But and you can't even be eligible for most state programs if you don't have the FAFSA completed. I don't know, like any other challenges or just experience. And they can be good stuff too. If people are like, hey, the better FAFSA seems to be better now, it's working.
Over. Can y'all hear me? Cool. Over at Woo, we decided to do it during week one, and asked financial aid council to be there, and then we asked different departments. We did have the biggest number at, to date of me joining the team, which was about like 54 students. So definitely week one, right off the bat, was probably the smartest move we've done because it was like a welcome back to school, now do your FAFSA. So yeah.
I did want, so I didn't have, if people know who Jennifer Satellino is, she's like the director of College Place, Oregon, and it's just is kind of the state's FAFSA experts in a lot of ways. I think she's certified by like the National Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators, and like she's going to be presenting in Sun River. So for the folks who are coming to the conference at the end of next month, she's doing a session with the director of financial aid at Central Oregon Community College. So they're kind of jointly going to come and present and just kind of go over the current relevant stuff, what's been changing, just and address any specific questions folks have. Jen's often the person I go to when we run into interesting snafus.
Matt, now it's the end of this month. We've made it to March.
Well, I mean, yeah, isn't it in a month? It's like April 1st or whatever. So I just keep thinking it's next month. But
It is. I'm also just putting in the chat right now the statement from Linda McMahon that she put out yesterday. Nothing to do with FAFSA, but just her statement about her intent with Department of Ed.
Matt, did you put in the newsletter about the Pell Grant and shortfall for the Pell
yeah,
Grant? Okay. Couldn't remember, was you or some other bad news email I got yesterday.
I try not to make all that bad news. That's not the intent of it, but
I mean, that definitely is a concern for our institution, given that we have such a high number of low-income Pell eligible students. So I am on a committee at my university at PSU to talk about the enrollment ramification if Pell is level funded, reduced. And at Portland State, we have something called tuition free. It used to be 4 years free, transfer finish free, where if you're Pell Grant eligible, even $1, um, the tuition free will make up any tuition and mandatory fees. And so I know that we are probably very worried that if Pell Grant is decreased or level funded and tuition continues to go up, our institution's going to have to come up with that tuition free money, which is a tuition remission basically. And PSU is already struggling with budgets.
Matt, do you want to pop that in to the chat for those that don't get the newsletter?
I was going to do instead was say
Oh.
subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah,
I had it in there ready to go.
Yeah.
I can grab
Even
it
better.
though too. So yeah, every week, like we try to just go through all the newsletters you're subscribed to and don't always have time to read. We try to go through and just pull out relevant stuff to either Oregon, TRIO programs, or just national news related to higher ed. Just kind of curate a lot of that stuff. So every Monday you get a newsletter from us, so you can just read that one and skip all the others or unsubscribe if you so please. Anybody else? I mean, we don't need to sit here for an extended period of time. I kind of trust that a lot of you are pretty well equipped at managing FAFSAs, doing it. It appears to be going better this year than last year. I think that there's still the underlying fear, threat of like putting student parent information in there and what exactly they're going to do with it. I don't know that anybody has better answers today than we did, a month or two ago regarding that information. But I think all of us still kind of understand the benefit to students of still going forward with this. And yeah, it's a weird time with tariffs kicking in and the stock market's been doing like truly awful, and like uh, uh higher ed's been in a weird place for years, but usually when the economy does terrible, that's when higher ed does much better. So that this could be a weird, unpredictable next time period and what it means for the work we do and the institutions we work for. But there could be usually downfalls in the economy mean increases in enrollment as more students like to go back to school if they can't find jobs or are struggling. So they could bode well, but nobody knows what's going on. So why has nobody thanked me yet today? Is that a joke I can make yet?
Too soon? I don't know.
I still haven't seen the whole thing. I just clips. I just can't. I'm trying. My challenge is to still like pay attention and like I'm gonna try to never hear